Hey everyone, Kyle here to give you a visual tour of the new Mantic Companion. I figured everyone's got a lot of buzz around it right now. Let's take a look at what it is, what tools are available to it, what information's all here. And I'm running through on the desktop version of the site right now. As you can see, we've got it built out for Kings of War, Dead Zone, and Firefight, with more game systems coming in the future. As I go through the various tools that are on here, you'll be familiarized with things in Kings of War, because I'm going to stick to that because that's what I know and love. But really, everything that I talk about applies to both Dead Zone and Firefight. So as you can see at the top here, there's a list of different tools that you can access, but they're exactly the same for Dead Zone and Firefight. So as I go through them, the stuff that I talk about, it's the same thing. We'll just be focusing on Kings of War for the purposes of this video. So starting off with the Army List Builder, which is what I think most people are seeing this as, though it's a lot more than that. We'll click on this and bring it up, and it's going to be a familiar list builder style. Elliot did a really nice job incorporating some neat new features, though, that I think a lot of people will like. So when you go to create a list, there's two options. There's this green Create New List button. There's also a Quick Create List button. The green button gives you access to picking an army, a name, a point limit, allies, that kind of thing. What I really like, though, is the game type. Right now, we're in a normal default Kings of War mode. We've got options built in for ambush currently, but expanding upon that, we can have legendary games, siege games, that sort of thing. That way, it'll change the structure of what your list looks like. So for now, if you want to play an ambush game and you need just to unlock, certain units such as troops to build your list out, it can be built, done this way. If you're playing a normal game, that's here. But where I really like that is in the quick create. At default, it's going to base the point limit on the level that you've set in your account page. Right now it's set for 2,000 points. So I'm going to click on this and we'll go into the Basileans and just hit quick create to take a look at what it is on the inside. Up at the top, you've got a number of different options and controls. These, like the special rules and spells, when you click on this stuff, it gives you a list of what all these things do and mean. What's nice is for things like the special rules, it includes your army special rules right at the top, in addition to the other ones that are available in the list. Now, when building a list, all of your total options are on the left. Your layout will appear on the right, and this is for the desktop version. So let's go ahead and just pick a unit and get started, and I'll show you all of what's available here. So when we click on the Paladin Foot Guard, it drops down, shows us the stats that we're familiar with, gives us the options that are there for both a troop and a regiment, everything that's available, along with the points, special rules, keywords, etc. At the top here, you've got 4 different options. This percent one is actually really cool. If you click on this, it'll bring up a very brief math hammer option that you can do for the unit. So the percent means that you're looking at the math hammer for Paladin Foot Guard. They're available in a troop and a regiment. And if you want to know roughly how much damage they do, it'll give you just a quick snapshot of what this unit will do versus defense 4 in a troop and in a regiment, defense 5, troop and a regiment. And it tells you this number next to it. So a troop versus defense 4 is expected to do just over 3 wounds, and you're paying at a rough 30 point per wound amount. The math hammer tool is also built in. It's another section. We'll go over that in a little bit, but just wanted to show you it's a real quick idea of, the damage output that a unit is going to produce. If you want to put in a custom name, this is if you have like some really neat basing elements or multiples of the same unit and you want to just be able to separate them and identify them for your opponent. This is a good place to enter a field and type in whatever you want to identify what they might be. Magical artifacts, this is where you would pick from the list of everything that's available. You can scroll through and they will add that to your points. And if you're building a list and you're like, okay, I really like this list, I need to buy some of these things, you can click right on shop and go straight to the web store where it'll link you and you can pick up the unit right from Mantic. After that, all your options are built in right here. Let's go ahead and hit add to the regiment to make it a legal list. Once it's over on this side, you'll see the layout in a slightly different format. This is how it would be once you've printed the list. Up at the top, you'll notice it tells you how many points of your total list total and how many more are remaining to fill out the list, and if the list is valid or not. The two options here are an edit button where you basically can just go back to where we were over here and change the same options, and delete with that little red trash can. At the bottom of the list here, as you continue to add units, this will update showing you more and more information such as how many units you have, what percentage is your core, total unit strength of the list. And I really like these things such as average defense. One unit at defense 5 tells us 5. How many number of range shots you've got built into it. So it's a real quick, easy way to say what your threat ranges are, how defensive you are, that kind of thing. How many inspiring units. It's just a nice little layout. And then obviously your special rules will show up down here at the bottom. When you add units in the list, so say for example, we'll add this priest, you get the same exact options. And the spellcaster level will be listed up here at the top. Any innate spells that a unit like this has will automatically be ticked with a 0 cost, and then their other options and their associated point cost will be here. What I do like is that on spellcasters, as we said, this is a spellcaster level 1. If we want to give them, for example, knowledgeable, which increases their spellcasting tier, and they want to pick a spell from the library, currently they can only pick these level 1s. You see if I check it, it's there, but if I try to go to 3, it's not there. As soon as you click on knowledgeable, all those become available and let you check it as well. And if you uncheck it, they go away. So it's kind of a nice, easy, quick way to take a look at it, and it will sort them as needed and update all the stats down here at the bottom and add any special rules and spells that you have that you've added since then. Down at the bottom, we'll look at the Panthers. This is the formation for the Basileans, and I've seen some questions on how this works in the army builder. What you'll see is what the unit is, what formation it's a part of, and then what size it comes in and the associated points cost with a total down at the bottom. All of the special rules and abilities that the formation grants are already added into this, and it's a one-click button to add. If you want to add any artifacts to these units, as you're going through and doing this, you can definitely do that. At this point, when you hit add, it will drop it in, and you'll see all the units listed all together there, updates all this stuff as normal. If you want to delete one of these, and as in Easy Army, you had to start over completely. With this case, if you pick a unit in the formation and hit delete, it just deletes them, and then you can keep going building your list. So it lets you kind of pop it in and see if it's something you want, and if you don't want, you don't have to have it. Once you've got a list that you're happy with, you've got various options. View is a very basic one. It just shows you literally everything that you have available in the one full-page screen. Share is where it's really nice because if you need to print these for list purposes or otherwise, you want to share them with people in a physical copy, that's where you can do it. An image is really nice because if you want to just save an image of the list instead of just having to do a screenshot of the view version, you can save that here and then share it in a messenger or text message, something like that, email, whatever. PDF is your traditional layout. We'll take a look at that guy. And with the PDF version, it's a very familiar layout. It takes it with a straight line, not the bubbles. It's very easy to read, gives you all your stats and different things down there at the bottom. It's a really nice way to kind of keep track of it, and it's very familiar to what we've seen in the past. Other than PDF, there's a very basic text format. This lets you just kind of copy and paste and show what's in your list and the associated upgrades and point costs with them just by name and points only. So it's a really clean, simple way to do it. And for the most part, that's it for the list builder. Everybody's got lists available. What's nice is that if I go back to the home page here, we'll see that we had been working on that list and it automatically saved it. But there are some really neat little features in here that weren't there before. So one of my favorites is this win, draw, loss column. So you can actually track how well you do with a particular list. It obviously tells you if it's valid or not. You can delete it, copy it. So if you like certain elements but want to tweak a few things, copy most things over and then just do a couple of tweaks. That's a quick, easy way to do it. If you really like the list and want to share it, or you've been successful with it, or you want help with it, whatever it might be, oftentimes we see in Facebook groups and that kind of thing, people sharing lists and they say, hey, what's your opinion on this? What do you think about this? Well, here's a way that people can actually publish lists and share them so that everyone can view. So, for example, we've got one list in here that Nick did at Mantic. It's an Abyssal Dwarf list, and he's just got it sitting out here as for testing purposes. But if you want to say, for example, hey, I'm looking for, a halfling list that is at least 2,000 points, but I could use with a 2,300 point list, whatever that might be, you can hit that update and it'll populate. Now, right now, we don't have anything because you guys haven't started using it yet. But it's a way for everyone to sort of share and get list ideas out there very quickly and easily. The other thing that I really like are these getting started lists. So Mantic sells a number of boxes that have contents in them, and everyone's always like, how much do you get in the army box? Coming up soon, we're going to be even releasing these ambush army boxes, which are really nice, easy ways to get into things. Our 2-player starter sets, for example, right here. So say you want, you bought the Storm in the Shires, you want to play Halflings, and you want to know how much is in there. Well, there's a pre-built ambush list that's ready to go for it. And if you take this and click on that, it'll open it up, and it lets you edit it if you want to. So at base value, here's 575 points. This is everything that you get with it. But if you want to tweak these things and make changes as normal, you've got the ability to do so right here. If you want to, say, for example, take the Wild Runners and turn them into troops, you could do that here. Delete one, add another one in, whatever it is. But it's a good starting point. And what's nice is once you've done this, it will automatically save that copy into your lists to use in the future. After the list builder is, of course, the rules. And this might actually be my favorite part of this, because we've talked about this being a living rule set, and that's a really good idea for how to approach things in the future. Because anything that we do, whether it's erratas or things that come up frequently and they need clarified, it can be updated here. So every single one of these sections is interactive. You can click on it, pull it up, read through it. Elliot's done a really nice job of making it snappy and easy. It's not just a PDF that you have to hit, Control F to find something on. What you'll see is everything that is listed without a star next to it is available to you in the free version. So if you just want to sign up and not pay, that's what you're going to get. And if you are subscribed, then you'll get access to everything that also has the star next to it. So that's on the premium version. But if you're playing a game and you really want to know, hey, how does, yielding work on individuals? Whatever it happens to be, you can click on it. It'll take you straight to that section, and you can read through it. And it's a very quick and easy way to sort of navigate. And the whole section of individuals will be done here. Down at the bottom, you can actually just keep reading through the rules as if it was the rule book, because it's laid out in the same order. All the things that are available in different places are right there. The other thing that I really like is that if you go into the search box and there's a certain thing that you need to know, like let's say engaged, it'll give you all the instances that this pops up. And again, it's not that just Control F in a PDF. How does engaged work? And it'll take you straight to that full section where you can get a really quick, very easy answer. I think it's a lot easier to navigate. There's even tiny things like these tiny hyperlinks that will take you to that section when you're within it. Just jumping around, what's a unit, what's a charge? For the most part, if you don't know what that is, it's a very quick and easy way to navigate. So I like this quite a bit. We can update it. We can make this a real living rule set that you can take advantage of. And everyone can be updated immediately just because the access is all right here. So it's a very cool way to sort of keep the game fresh and constantly moving without having to wait to reprint books. Before, I briefly mentioned the math hammer. Now, this is something that doesn't always work with the same way in my brain that it does for other people, and I think that's a really nice tool for those that need it. If you want to just type in units, say you say to yourself, I've got a 16 attack, melee 3, cavalry kind of unit. They've got Thunderous 2, no Elite or Vicious, no Slayer, none of those kind of things. You can sort of tweak this stuff. You want to add a magic artifact and see how they do. You say, okay, well, these are roughly 200 points, and they're going against this basic defense 4, 14, 16 unit, and they're charging in the front. They're not hindered, not a hill charge, no current damage on them. What does that actually look like? And it gives you a spread of what you would expect on averages with dice, and a really decent chance to see what it would be. So you basically have more than half of a chance to either waver or rout this unit right there. So if you say to yourself, okay, well, what would giving them elite do for me? And suddenly you see, okay, I've got almost a 72% chance to rout there. That's a pretty good change. Does being hindered change that? Yes. Does a flank charge, change that? Oh yeah, it definitely does. Obviously we know flanks are devastating. 97% chance that you're going to take those guys off the board. If they're inspired, how does that change it? Well, still pretty good. Those are really quick, easy ways to do it. And what I really like is that when you're building a list, we'll go back into our best lanes here. If you're curious about something, we'll look at that same, Paladin Knights. You can hit that. Actually, we'll look at Ogre Palace Guard. So if you hit that percentage here, you can go straight to say, okay, the Horde, math hammer this unit, and it'll pop you right over to that same tool and pre-fill with all their stats and points. And you can see exactly what this unit would do against their target, and tweak these things as needed, just to get an idea of what your chances of actually picking the unit up are going to be. So it's a nice way to do it. I think that if you're in a game, it may be difficult to get a quick feedback, but when you're planning your lists and building those things, it should be a very useful tool. Next up is the Tournament Companion. This is something that I'm really excited about. I think that we have a lot of potential in what we can do with this. So I'll start off by saying very clearly, we are not looking to, step on the toes of any major tournament scene, any private circuits, public circuits, whatever it is. This is purely for Mantic players at any level, whether you are those big GT players or not, to create your own tournament and use our system. We know there's a lot of other systems out there. Tabletop TO is a really big one. But this one in particular allows us to get some really nice feedback on it. And we want to build a good system that makes it a very usable tool for everyone to have access to. So the thing that I see very appealing to this is if you want to create a one day at your shop and invite people to play the game, there's only like 8 players, something like that. This is a really good way to do it. And scaling up, it's going to have access to wonderful tools and abilities for full-on GTs. If you've got 70 people, etc., there's a great way to do it. And this is going to be tied into our rankings, which are up here. And again, these rankings do not interfere, coincide anything with anyone's doing on master's levels or otherwise. They're in addition to it. Mantic is just wanting to do our own version of rankings. And the tournament software can all be run this way. And it'll tie into the rankings just the same. So when you go to create a tournament, you can name it, point limit, number of rounds, tournament date, and we will actually link it in our events section too, so that people know that you've created this and we'll help promote it with you. So once you've done that, all your players can sign up. They can submit their lists into this system. That way, everybody's lists are visible. You can know who's had their stuff turned in. Tons of ways to communicate and coordinate and then track everything that's happening with it. If they're also using the companion, they can submit their scores and their results as they're going through their games right there on their mobile device or straight to the TO who's using this. So it's a really nice solid system that allows you to use it, and then we get the feedback on it. We can use it to, for example, work on the RC and tweak things. If certain units are doing very well, we'll be able to track that. If certain players are doing well with those certain units, then we'll have a better idea of, is it the player, is it the unit, what is it, and get really nice accurate feedback based on what you guys are doing. So it's a way to tie the community and the company and what we're doing with rules all together. Speaking of the rankings, let's take a look at those. That's under this latest tab. And obviously we don't have any rankings yet, but again, this is a totally separate thing that Mantic is going to do, and we are going to offer our own sort of support and prizes, maybe even ways of inviting players to special events and that kind of thing, like we've done with the flights in the past, based on our ranking system. And this can go in addition to anything that you're also being ranked on for local events or otherwise. So we've got our own rankings calculations built in right here. If you click on this, you can see what it is. And for the most part, it's going to be based on how big your event is. So how many rounds? Is it a one-day kind of thing, or is it a full-on 2-day or big 6-round event? Those things will track the points slightly different. How big of a game you're playing will track things differently, and how many people are actually playing at the event. So lots of different event bonuses and ways to get additional points, but we are going to track players as well and provide our own Mantic rankings. That way, it's in addition to everything else that's going on out there. And I think it's a really cool way to sort of reward players that are doing well, celebrate them, celebrate their lists, the armies that they're playing with, that sort of thing. So lots to look forward to, and as it builds out, what it's going to look like, I think that we can use it in conjunction with what the community is doing on their own to do our own fun things. If we want to do, our own Mantic Masters kind of thing, we can do it this way. So it's a really cool way to get everybody that's playing a chance to participate wherever you are in the world. And the same breadth of the rankings is the events, which that section will show you basically all the events that have been registered and are showing available here. We link to their tournament pack and all their information. And if you want to submit your event, you can do it right here at the top. If you're a TO, this links you back to the tournament companion that allows you to set one up and get it all organized. You can organize it by country, so wherever you're at. Otherwise, everything is just listed out here, what's happening based on the date. We'll look at, for example, this Clash of Cardiff, or Clash at Cardiff. This is at the lovely Firestorm Games. I've been there for Clash Kings. Great store, great place. This is taking place on the 13th of November this year. It's a part of the 2022 season. That's where the rankings come into play. It's a 1995 4-point rounds at Cardiff Games. The link right here will take you to a new page where you can check out how to sign up and all the specific details. The pack link will send you straight to the actual tournament pack itself. So nice, quick, convenient way to have access to everything all in one place, and shows you where it's at. Any additional details will be listed down there. So kind of a cool way to list it all out and see what it is. If you're looking to play for specific point level events with the list that you have and what's available and around you, you can do it here. And speaking of what's around you, the other thing would be the club directory. So from here, we're going to be able to build this out. Obviously, right now it's a little light just because we don't have your feedback yet. But you can list where you're playing, where your group of players are, whether that's in a store or just in somebody's basement. Local players that want to join the game and get involved will have an option to find you on here. And we're hoping to coordinate the community together so that way people can help grow and expand what's going on with Mantic Games as much as possible. So when you find one of these that's local to you, if you click on it, it'll tell you, what games these guys are playing. It'll take you to a specific Facebook page or a website that lets you hook up with them and get in contact with them. So it's a great way to share what everyone is doing and get involved with the people in your area. I know that it's a great tool to find new players because for me in my area, I live down here, it's a little sparse. So for me, the closest guys I have are these guys in Dayton, the Ohio War Kings. It's about a 3-hour drive. So it's a way for me to get there. I know them and I can link up with them right here on this Facebook page. So it's a cool way to sort of find people in your area. And if you're by yourself, I'd say put yourself on here as well, because it's how people can find you and you can get some games in and play together. Each of these hubs that are listed down below are going to give you a sort of landing page for everything for that game system. Right now, they're just built out with some introductions that give you some videos and information and links to getting started and model ranges, that kind of thing. I think it's a great way for us to put our blog posts and any news that's happening with the game as just sort of a homepage to head to see, hey, what's happening with Kings of War. That way you're always in the loop and always have a place to go to check out this is what's coming up and what's happening. It ties together the events and everything all in one place. So it's a really nice sort of homepage that you can reference all the time to get as much information as possible. The Getting Started guide is really nice because it walks you through how to get started with Kings of War. Access to the free rules are all built in right here. And if you want to check out different fluff and lore on the sections and what they're all about, explore the model ranges, that can be done here as well. So it's a really great way to do it. And then once you've picked your army, here's where you can go straight on and get a Getting Started box and start collecting models and get started. So really nice, easy tool to get things going. So that's the visual tour of the Mantic Companion app. And I'm really excited about this because there's a tremendous amount of things that are available for free at the base level. We'd really like your subscription because we obviously love to make these games. We love to support them. We know that people have a lot of options when they're out there playing those games, whether it's with miniatures or otherwise. And this is our way to say, hey, we want to make these games for you and we want to be something that is around for a long time in the future. You can support us through this kind of channel, and we want to make sure that when you're supporting us, you get as much value as possible out of that. So we want to introduce as many things that we can in the future. I know Ronnie has talked about STLs and that sort of thing that we're going to be bringing at some point, and that's all going to be done through the Mantic Companion. So over the next few months, as we lead into this, everyone gets access to the full premium level, everything that's on here, full access. Check it out, see what you think, tell us what you think, tell us what you want. That gives us the ability to change and tweak these things to make the offering that we're giving you as good as possible. We know you love playing the games. We want you to show us that you love playing the games, and we want to give you the best experience with those games and the connectivity with that and the other players that you can have, and offer really cool things, really cool prizes and ways to interact with us and ways to, show what you want the games to become and be. And we can do that through something like this. So it gives us tremendous potential for what can happen in the future and how we can introduce things, whether it's rules, whether it's STLs and models, updates to things can all be done really in our control, in your control, and we can create a system and a community that works together very well. So that's the idea, that's the goal, that's the approach, and I think that we've got a lot of really good things to look forward to. It's an amazing tool so far, and I think that it's a great step up from where things have been with Easy Army. So it's a really exciting time to see what all's happening and what we can do with it. So check it out in the next few months. Give us a subscription just to see the full premium site for the next few months for free. And then if you like it, stay on with us, and we'll continue to build it out and make something really amazing. So thanks for checking it out, and let me know what questions you have or what you'd like to see on here, and we'll get to work on it. Thanks, guys.